What's going on? Thank you for tuning into today's vlog. I have a special vlog today. I'm just offering some words of encouragement based on my life story. I'm prepping for a great 2023. Got a lot of things in the work. This is one thing that I'm working on so that I can just put some positivity out there and just kind of introduce myself to you a little bit more. I hope you enjoy. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me today and coming. And in the future, it'll be an arena, right? It'll be, an auditorium. And thank y'all for coming and sitting here, or you just watching, because I might use this I'm going to just put this on YouTube and giving me your time right now. You have maybe been invited because of different reasons. Maybe they made you come. Maybe someone made you come. Maybe you kind of hope that you weren't here, and maybe you feel like it's a waste of time. Maybe you feel like, who is this guy up there with this nice beard and this nice hat? I'm joking. You're probably wondering those things. I know that I would probably feel the same way. But you're here, and so am I. And I have been given an opportunity, to take 15, 20 minutes to share something with you that has been in the making since I was a young boy, growing up right here in Fort Worth with diversity, with challenges in my life, if I could write a list down and you could write a list down, we would probably share in a lot of those similarities. So I want to be kind of a motivation, a glimpse of what's possible from wherever you are. If things are going good, then what I'm about to tell you should just be a lot easier. But if things are going not so smooth and you're kind of fighting against the world and kind of fighting to figure out who you are, then not that I had a formula. No one spoke into me when I was young. I kind of had to figure it out. But during that time, certain things got developed. When I was young, and I'm talking elementary, I remember not being so smart. I remember being a bit slow. Not obviously, but in most occasions, I was the slowest learner in every class environment that I was in, all the way till I graduated high school. I never was ahead. I never excelled at math or science or any of the other things that are important, that we must learn, because we got to teach our brain to learn and retain, and then, you know how that goes. And it made me feel down, right? And here, I'm talking, I was young, and I knew that my confidence was low. I knew that I was kind of ashamed of myself, of like the intellectual self of Sam, right? Maybe, there's you that everyone likes and loves, and then there's the you that no one knows, that the report card shows, or the teachers, or your work, or when you handwrite, when you write, when you do the math and your grades show up, that person that no one knows, and you can kind of just flow through life. You can kind of go through school, and no one will ever know. Only you. And in this world, you can make it, man. I'm not saying that school isn't necessary. I'm not saying that it is necessary. All I'm saying is that nothing matters unless you're there. Nothing matters unless you dream. Nothing matters unless you have something to offer. The hammer is just a piece of wood and a piece of metal that's sitting in a store or on a table in a work, sitting there useless until it finds your hand and your craftsmanship, and then it can build the most amazing things. And that's what, in essence, you are right now. Just a person kind of sitting on the table of life, trying to figure things out. And it's up to you to lift yourself up, to get a hold of who you are and begin to build a future that can provide a future, right? I'm not just saying just get to the next day, just get to graduation, just get to a certain point. No, I'm talking about holding and benefiting from being who you are. That's what I'm talking about. And so it took years for me to know what was being developed. And I couldn't read or write. I struggled with grades. I had to do things once or twice all the time. I was in and out of school. I talked back, I skipped, I got in trouble so much because that was my secret of separating myself from the school I was at, where people could identify where I was because of the classes I was in, because of the hallways I had to take to get to my classroom, where not everyone went, just a select few that didn't have what it took to be with the normal kids in normal classes. And even in those classes, I know there's people that struggle in there, but for some reason, there was a label on me, and that label had people look at me a certain way. And maybe there's a label that's sitting and following you around, and people think of you a certain way. And to a point, after you hear it so much, you start believing it. And even if you don't believe it, you adjust to it and you begin to try to go away from it, as opposed to growing from it, owning it and figuring out this is who I am, as much as it hurts. As embarrassing as it is, you are who you are. There is no waste of a person. There is no personality that isn't great. Now, we all have flaws. We all have to grow. We all have to become better and mature and be loving and kind. Don't get me wrong. If you're ugly and mean and you have hate in your heart, we must get rid of that. But there is a better you. There's a better version of you. And I sat there year after year just feeling so dumb and feeling so useless. I would hate when they would call me to read out loud, because at those moments, I'd be so embarrassed that someone would find out how behind I was. There were certain words that are so easy for many of y'all. I'm sure y'all can all read better than me. And to think that one word mispronounced or misread could cause a class to laugh at you and make you feel even worse. Why would I blame myself for not wanting to be there, not wanting to be laughed at, not wanting to be taken serious? But that's how I grew up, and I became a troublemaker. I figured out a way to talk my way out of an embarrassing situation and put myself in a position where I could, be cool, right? Be funny. And all that time I was developing a voice. I was developing a mind that can think so quick from here to here, and I could speak my way into trouble and speak my way out of trouble. I got favor from people because I could talk. Maybe you have a voice. I don't know. Maybe you have a talent that you're developing, but because something is hurting, and I'm telling you that hurt sucks, but I'm thankful for it because it gave me a voice, that voice that I have now. And in those days, I wish I could have. If I could go back, I would say, help me, help my mind be smart, retain, help me be at the same level as all my friends, help me so that math is easy to me, writing and history and all of those things, so that I can pass every class and continue on my path like everyone else. But that's not what I was given. I was given the worst of times. I was in a class with people, I'm not saying nothing bad about my classmates, but they belong in those classes where special needs were needed. And I happened to be put in there, and nothing was wrong with me. Not that anything was wrong with them, but I'm talking about me. We all laugh, and I know we might even giggle and chuckle a little now. Even I do. I make jokes about it now, and sometimes it's mean and ugly. But I was on the short bus. All my life, I hated it so much. But here I am telling you what bus I rode with no shame anymore. Because on that bus, all I would do was think. All I would do was hide so no one would see me on the window. I didn't want no one in my neighborhood know that it was me getting on and getting off of that bus. I hated who I was. I hated who I was inside of that bus. But here I am telling you today, I was on that small bus. Maybe you are struggling with something. representative of a small bus. Maybe people see you a certain way because of a deficiency that you have, because of a flaw that you have. And it's embarrassing. It's maybe you don't want to talk about it. Maybe it's too soon. For me, it took a long time to figure out the benefits. It took a long time for me to learn what was going to come of those testing times. And later in my life, someone told me, and this was in high school, my principal said, "I see a leader in you." I never saw that. I never looked in the mirror and saw a leader. All I saw was this dumb kid who rides the short bus that they can't read, is always in trouble, and people don't see nothing good in him. That's all I saw in that mirror. And she looked at me. She saw how I interacted with teachers and in my teacher-parent conferences and all that when I was in and out of schools. And she said, "I see a leader in you." She poured into me. She put that message in my head and she said, "You can do more." A leader speaks. A leader communicates. A leader's creative. A leader people look up to. A leader people follow. Trust me, she was way older than me. For her to tell me she saw a leader, she meant she saw those things in me. They needed some working. They needed some development, right? They needed someone to pour into me. I needed someone to pour into me, but the light switch was turned on. The light bulb was screwed on. And there you go. The thought was in my head. And I'm here to tell you that you are amazing. There's one switch. And I'm here to tell you that you are more than you think that you are today. And that's the light bulb going in. And now it's time for you to pick up that hammer and go to work on yourself and believe that you can do more than what those believe that you can do. That you can do more than what you have done for yourself now, because the future's ahead of you. You're judging yourself on everything from the past. And in that time, here's what happened. I developed my communication skills. I ended up learning to love to read. I love to write. I've written so many essays. I've communicated in front of so many people. And yeah, I mess up. Sometimes I misspeak. I can't read something completely perfect in front of people, but I don't care. I will stand in front of a group with a piece of paper and I will try to read it and be nervous, but I never say I can't. I always say I'll give it a go and I'll finish it and I'll do it. And that person came from the one that I've been describing you. What the amazing person that's waiting in the future is you. That's who's in the future. And so I had to learn how to talk, communicate my way in and out of all kinds of things. And so communication is key, and I want to just motivate you to communicate what you feel and how you feel, to be able to just say, "Hey, my order is wrong. Can you help me? I want to make it right." I don't care. Can you communicate in a way that you don't shut people off? Can you communicate in a way that people want to hear you? Because I know that in your head, I know in your life experience, there's something that needs to be shared. There's something the world needs that only you have to offer, but you need to be able to vocalize it in a way that inspires people to listen. So communication is key. And if you're quiet right now, I understand. Maybe you're still gaining experience and gaining confidence to speak up and be vocal. But I'm telling you, it's a powerful thing. Start practicing now and respect yourself and know that you have something to say. And communication is the key to open doors, the key to making great friends, the key to helping others. Communication is what I do. And now as a podcaster, as a vlogger, things that require me not only to think, but to vocalize. Because imagine how boring a podcast would be if I wasn't good at communicating. I communicate because my past gave me so much pain, but I've turned that pain into power now. I don't reflect because I'm like, pity on me. No, I reflect because I'm trying to connect from those that are going through the same thing. So go ahead and find your voice. What does it want to say? What does it want to introduce to this world that needs more people that have what you have? I don't know what it is. Only you do. Figure out what that is. It isn't shame. It isn't dumb. It isn't negative things. It isn't those things. It's the great things that you may not even know what they are yet until you start to explore. So I want to encourage you to develop your communication skills. Another thing, since I wasn't able to be, academically book smart and stuff, I was able to develop my creativity, to be able to think outside, so far outside the box that has helped me develop all the things from my writings, from whenever I speak to people, from my podcast, from my blog, even from just guiding and helping people. It's my creativity, my mind, and I'm able to be present in the moment and create things. I see things for more than what they are. And guess what? That's how I look at my younger self. I have to be creative to see what I was and imagine what I want to be. And everything that I am thankful for was developed in all that mess. And then now I'm harnessing it, I'm using it so that I can reach out and motivate you. And creativity isn't just painting, or it isn't just filming. It isn't just a small amount of things. Creativity is a way of thinking. In other words, there's always something to think about. Whenever you're stuck, there's a creative way to come out of it. Whenever you feel like you have to say something, creatively is the best way to do it. Whenever you're creative, it opens the door for so much. Creativity is so important. You have to work that muscle out. Many people struggle with being creative. I'm not saying that it is easy, but I'm telling you that whenever you have a voice and you're creative, you're able to capture, here we go, the attention of so many. And when you capture their attention, then you get to share your heart. Then you get to motivate people to think and look in the mirror and say, you know what, I am a leader. You know what, I am a communicator. You know what, I am a doctor. I am a lawyer. I am successful. Whether you went to college, you graduated high school, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is if you believe in yourself first. And if you do that, and if you're able to communicate what's in your heart creatively, people will hear you. And through those networks, through those friends, your opportunities are endless. And so I just want to motivate you to start reading, to start writing, start thinking of yourself and what you're going to be doing in the future, because what's needed is being developed now. Don't look at yourself in a negative light anymore. When you look in the mirror, if the mirror's turned just at a slight angle and you just see right behind you, make sure you look at a mirror that's hung properly. And when you do that, it reflects right. You can't see nothing behind you. And all I'm saying is get a clear picture of you, because that's what matters, is that you can see yourself for who you are, regardless of the mess, regardless of the mess-ups, and say that guy, that person can make anything happen. That's all I got to say today. That's my message.